Hey everybody, it's me, Edward Jones, back with a new video. Free speech and guns. This is an idea that just came up in my head not too long ago, and I want to talk about how I'm actually hopeful for the future of the Second Amendment in our country. And I started looking at for one, I'm a gamer, and I noticed a lot of shooting video games. They're having more and more detailed. Um, there's more attention paid to detail with a lot of firearms in video games. It used to be where I remember like in Max Payne, for example, the Desert Eagle in Max Payne held 10 rounds, which realistically, if it was a 357 Magnum, it could hold 9 plus 1. If it was a 44, 8 plus 1. It was the 50, 7 plus 1. And then go some years later, Max Payne 3, they have a 50 caliber Desert Eagle, and it holds 7. So I can see, so that's an example of more detail being, more attention being paid to detail when with how certain guns operate. Um, like Fallout New Vegas, and they have different modifications for firearms. You can put suppressors on different pistols. I remember they have for the assault carbine, which is like an M4. You can get a forged receiver instead of and it adds to durability. The 44 Magnum revolver, they have a forged frame. For a 357 Magnum, you can get a longer. You can get a little bit longer barrel, and it adds to the range of the gun. So yeah, just some details like that. Also, I was just talking to a buddy of mine about this, and with suppressors, how in the games where if you put a suppressor on a gun, yeah, it'll cut down the noise, but you do lose velocity and some damage because more of the gases are going to be dispersed in different directions other than going down the barrel. Now, I bring all this up because these are things that are in video games, which adults do play video games, but they're more so marketed towards young adults and teenagers. You also look at things like Nerf. I don't know if you guys ever out there play Nerf guns, but I have a couple of my own, and they're getting more and more realistic in terms of how they operate. I remember they used to be just the you pull a slide back and it shoots shoots a Nerf dart. Now they came out a couple years ago with the chain gun. It was I think it was battery powered, and it was a chain gun, and it fed from a belt fed ammunition. It fell from an ammunition belt, Nerf darts, and if you shot it, and more darts came out. Now they come out with boxed magazines for Nerf guns. There are different mods. There are pump action carbines, Nerf carbines, and these are marketed as kids toys. And even back a long time ago, maybe in the 50s or maybe longer than that, there were guns made by Mattel, who also made furniture for the M16 originally. They made toys that were they made fake guns that were marketed to kids. And so I see what we have nowadays with a lot of information that gets passed on through the internet. We have a way of actually preserving the Second Amendment, even increasing it. Many states are loosening restrictions firearm activity. There are many states are having constitutional carry. It's slow but steady. There's talk about that here in South Carolina. I know our legislation's out of session right now, but they reconvened in January. And one of the things that's going to be talked about is a bill that was put into the Senate about constitutional carry. There's an open carry bill in the Senate, constitutional carry bill in the House. So I'm still very hopeful of that. But as much as the lies, much of the hysteria that we do see in the media, there is some pushback by like there's websites like for example, I am IMFDB, the Internet Movie Firearm Database, where they, it's a website that keeps a track of guns that were used in films, the type of the model, the year, some history behind it, whether it was anachronistic to have a gun in this setting or not, different types, whether the operation of a certain firearm was possible in the film, and a lot of young people use the internet, obviously, so you have a lot more young people being exposed to this information. So I believe that the future of the Second Amendment really does depend upon the future of the First Amendment, and we can clearly see why freedom of speech was placed a step above the right to keep and bear arms to maintain a free society. Because in order to maintain a free society, the society has to be informed about what's going on, where something is going on, who's doing it, and ultimately what could be done if it have to resort to protesting, or redress for grievances, or push come to shove, it goes down to having to pick up a gun. Having information out there that dispels a lot of the lies, that puts this misinformation into the light and be challenged by truth, is very important, especially for us, for those who are in the gun community. We want young people to be educated. I know firearm accidents have been dropping because of, I believe it's because of the more availability of firearm safety and information on how firearms work. There are various gun channels like Iraqi Vet 8888, Military Arms Channel, Forgotten Weapons. Especially when Battlefield 1 came out, you had a lot of young people who wanted to play this game, going to Ian's channel and looking at the stuff that looking at guns that were being reviewed, and getting some historical data on the way those firearms operated. So we do have a young generation that is hungry for knowledge, that wants to know how firearms in the past worked, how they work now, what direction can we see them going. We've had young people, young engineers work on 3D printed guns. I've seen a lot on some Reddit forums where we have teenagers ask, they want to get started on building an AR-15. Which I'm pretty sure, and a lot of older guys out there, that maybe they had their start in the firearm culture in the Ruger 1022. I know I had my start with a break open single barrel 20 gauge, and it's grown ever since. I remember I used to be on the internet looking up what's the difference between a Mossberg 500 and Remington 870, which games had which guns, which one that I knew I wanted to be my first gun, which I got mine was the Mossberg, and which ones I always thought were pretty cool in films. Could I get these guns, or can I make these guns, as I did with the 50 Beowulf project. And this information is extremely valuable, and I think it's our job as those in the gun community to make sure that the free flow of that information continues and even grows, so that there's much less concern about gun rights being curtailed. Many young people are being informed about all the fallacies about gun control. That these are really emotion-based arguments. A lot of these tragedies that we see, we're starting to see that there's a pattern that can be put together that shows that these tragedies are going on in places where people are barred from having a firearm on them, and which make them easy targets. And it's a no-brainer that if someone wants to cause mayhem, they're going to go to a place that's going to have less resistance for them. And many young people are catching on to that. There are many steward organizations that are wanting to push for more, more gun rights. Carrying on college campuses is something that's going on. I think that's a big step in the right direction. Even with a lot of the hysteria going on with SJWs and the media twisting things around, there's a great tool like YouTube. Like I'm making this video right now for all you guys to see, to challenge a lot of the mess that goes on in different media outlets. So I think the best thing that can happen for the future of the Second Amendment is that we make sure that the First Amendment is kept strong and is kept free and kept available to everyone else, so that there isn't this monopoly of information that allows for lies to be spread and for people to accept false kind of false logic, or this kind of mismatch that people want to put together to try to justify wanting to curtail gun rights. So please tell me what you think. Do you think that the First Amendment is something that actually works hand in hand with the Second Amendment to keep when they both work together, they a lot of good things can happen? I'd like to hear your thoughts. If this is your first time checking out my channel, please check out my other videos. Please like the video so that this video gets promoted. If you want to make a donation to my channel, go to my home page, look for Give Up That Cheese. That's the donation button to my PayPal account. Any gripes, complaints, please feel free to send me a PM. I'll see what I can do to address them. But that's my video. Free speech and gun rights. I'm Edward Jones, and thanks for watching.